I said this before and I'm going to say it again for my own sake, although I am going to add a bit more in terms of specifications. Most of the dialogue, most of the conversations within my stories should truly be that, not just observations made by the characters for the sake of an imaginary reader, a rock, not some sophisticated Shakespearean dialogue or philosophical questions of life and death, but I need to make sure that my characters do not have the tendency to seriously spout statements like the water is wet or that wooden door is made out of wood. I need to always remind myself that the characters had been living in that world, in that setting, their entire lives, thus asking and answering questions that they should know, that they should be very familiar with, just for the sake of the reader, is not how I want to do things. I want to use their familiarity with the setting, with the world, and construct dialogues that introduce that world to others outside of it, the reader, as naturally and organically as I possibly can. I can't just use the "oh, what is this thing? I've never seen it before" 50 times within one novel, even if I use different characters to ask about different facts. What I can use maybe once or twice is a parent explaining some of these established realities to their children, but a hard-boiled survivor adventurer, I feel, should know their craft and shouldn't be overly surprised because of every single little thing that the reader might need an explanation on. There are obviously different tiers to this, and with sarcasm and or irony mixed in, it made me say most of the conversation, obviously not all of them, should have a meaning and some character behind them. And this is definitely one of the things that I will be struggling with to determine what is worth saying and what is not, because it doesn't matter if my book has 100,000 words if half of those carry no meaning, bring in nothing to the table. And I stressed that out in some of the previous videos how important dialogue between characters is for me as a reader to enjoy the story and not skip over long stretches of exposition and observations, but said conversations need to have a purpose. They need to have a justification for their existence. So this will be a struggle for me, one of many that I've uncovered doing these videos. Also, I'm honestly baffled by the fact that I actually stuck with this for so long. It's been 100 videos already, and I still have so much to talk about, so much to write down in this online journal of mine, and not just about storytelling, but the other portion, which is going over stories and games that I truly enjoy and like. I actually expected myself to quit within 2 or 3 weeks, since the only thing that I've ever truly persevered in doing has been exercise. But enough of this, and now more about the Rapid Arrows and their adventures. We are introduced to three boys with clearly too much time on their hands, trying to come up with things to find some entertainment. One of them has an idea to check out the Ant Street where an old angry man lives, always ready to throw his stick after them. The other two are interested, hoping for some excitement, while the originator of this idea gloats that they even knocked over his tin with ash. When they arrive, they sarcastically ask if the old man managed to rake the ash after the last incident. The mastermind is explaining their tactics that they'll knock the tin again and right after that shout in front of the closed door so that the old man can hear them and then they need to run away. Meanwhile, the rapid arrows notice that something is happening and spy into the yard, Mirek commenting that the poor old bandowner, that is the old man's name, has some uninvited guests again, and that they'll wait for them to act so that they can catch them in the middle of it. Well, the bad boys throw down the can. One of them shouts that they've prepared some work for the old man and they are ready to run. The door opens and the poor old guy shouts after them, asking if they are not ashamed of themselves for torturing a senior like that. The boys just laugh and run away, but are stopped in their tracks by the rapid arrows, who hold them, sternly send them to work to clean up the ash they just spread all over the yard. When they are doing so, they are guarded by the arrows, and the poor old man laments that they've been doing this a long time, occasionally just doing something out of spite. When the three boys are done cleaning, Mirek sends one last warning after them that if they'll ever see them again here, things will turn very sour for them. And before the rapid arrows depart, they offer the old man some help around the house, chop some wood. Yindra will fetch him some water, leaving the old man full of gratitude and hope, probably groundless, that all young people will behave similarly towards their ancestors, and this signals another good deed done. But it's the winter, and even the rapid arrows want to have some fun. Snow is everywhere, and while they are going outside to do some outdoor activities, on their way there, Speedy decides to play a small prank on Redcap, throwing a snowball at him when his guard is down, causing a little flood of chilly water to spawn behind his neck, laughing that a little snow isn't going to hurt him. Then they find a small hill of snow as if prepared just for them, since their plan for today is to build an igloo. But first thing first, they'll need to increase the height of the pile a bit more so that they'll be able to fit in properly. Next is reinforcing and stabilizing the snow, and then comes excavating the entrance. While hard at work, a slightly chubby boy approaches them, dragging a sled behind him. Speedy invites him to work with them, calling him a Tony boy, in a friendly manner. The boy denies that nickname and also denies the invitation to work, citing a flu he had suffered through 5 years ago as an excuse. Well, he leaves, but only after he says that once they are done, he would like to come and check it out, that he is sledging on the other side of the hill. Yarka begins creating the entrance. The work is going well. Speedy is all giddy. Can't wait to be able to go inside with the rest of the boys. But then, on the top of the hill, little Tony boy notices that they seem to be approaching the final stages of building the igloo, so he decides to sled down the hill to see it for himself. He is picking up speed. On one hand, happy with how fast he is going, on the other, not exactly sure how he is going to stop. Underneath the green oncoming cannonball is Speedy exploring the finished igloo, happily chirping how when it's snowing, not a single snowflake will be able to touch them when they are inside. And just when he is actually fully inside, the green avalanche comes down, bearing the wrath of heaven with him, screaming that he really didn't mean to do that, covering Speedy in a pile of snow from the caved in roof of the igloo. When Speedy finally emerges, mildly unhappy, asking the damn planters what did they just do to him, everyone's laughing around, and Redcap finds vindication, returning the "a bit of snow never hurt anyone yet" sentence he received from Speed at the beginning right back at him. And this is where I'm going to stop. I have something more that I am looking forward to covering in the next video about side characters, and then I'm going to continue with more stories from Yaroslav Foglar.